Alrighty, so it only seems fair because I did the Maxwell's menu for the live session that I do a menu for Starlight Bistro and I do a menu for Walk and Roll. So I just completed the Walk and Roll, but if you have chosen Starlight Bistro, have no fear. I am going to do a walkthrough of how to create that menu with you right now. So I'm just working off of a new document, and I do apologize if you had Walk and Roll. I forgot to put my layers back together, so there were a couple of more steps. I'm going to try to remember to do the layers this time. You will be working off of your document that you are working in from week 1. So make sure that you follow the instructions in the live session for saving that one forward. All right, I'm just going to quickly save this in a folder for week 2 called Starlight. And I'm just going to name mine Starlight. You guys, and it looks as though, no, I just spelled it correctly. You guys need to name it with the correct naming convention. All right, so let's go into the Starlight Bistro assets and let's open up the menu text. And we're going to go right from the top. We're going to create the entire menu. We're going to create the paragraph styles, and you can follow along with this and create the same exact menu. You're not going to lose points. I really just want to make sure that you're understanding how to use the tools this week. So as I was saying in the live session, I like to go into the Word file, and I like to kind of pre-format it so it gives me a visual when I'm bringing things over into InDesign. One of the things that I like to do is I like to make sure that my tabs are set up, as in it's not just a space, it's an actual tab in the Word file, so I can copy all the text over the way it's supposed to go. And then I like to kind of make a visual hierarchy of the information. So this would be a headline. This would be a headline. And then I like to bold the items. This would be a headline. This would probably just be an italicized description. So that way when I'm going in and I'm trying to, set things up the way that they should go, it's easier to see what needs to be what. So I'm going to select smoothies, and I'm just going to make it a heading right in here. And this doesn't copy over into InDesign. Again, it's just to make my life easier. Then I'm going to go down here. These are the types of smoothies. Or this is kind of the type of smoothie with the price. So I'm going to make the price bold, but I'm going to make the type of smoothie bold and italic. And I'm going to select those 2 spaces and enter in a tab. And then these are the types of smoothies. So I'm going to make this bold. I totally want a smoothie right now. I have all the stuff upstairs to make a smoothie. Might have to make one after. All right, in a bowl, that's going to be a heading. And then this is going to be bold, the item and the price. The item name, I should say, in the price. And then on a plate is a heading. And then this is just going to be italic, a little description. And honestly, this one should probably be not bold, just italic, so it matches. Again, with that repetition we're adding. Setting up our sections the same. All right, so in a glass is a headline, but the price is not. So I'm going to just make the price bold. And then these are going to be bold. for the items. And then served hot and cold, that's a description, I'll make that italic. And honestly, I'm probably gonna put the price on its own line, so I'm going to move it to its own line and just leave it there for now. All right, perfect. I'm gonna go back into InDesign, and I wanna set this up with 2 margins. So I'm gonna go to layout, and I'm gonna go to margins and columns, and I wanna change my columns to 2, and this to the gutter to 0.5, so I can have some good space in between my columns of text. I don't want the text to look like it's running right on top of each other. And I'll hit OK. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my type tool, I am going to draw 2 text boxes, 1 in each column. So make sure it just goes from column width to column width. Perfect. And I'm going to put my cursor in the first column, and I'm going to go back into Word, and I'm going to select everything. So select everything and copy it. And then I'm going to paste it in, which is Command V, or you can go to Edit, Paste. Now, you will notice that there is a red square here with a plus sign. I already made a screenshot of it, so we're going to zoom in and take a look at that just so you know what you're looking for. So a red square with a plus sign. What you need to do is you need to select the text box with the black arrow key, and then select that little red square with the plus sign. No matter how much you zoom in, the plus sign in the red square for some reason stays the same size. It's super annoying. But when you click on it and hover over your other text box that you drew, it goes from being half of a square, 2 lines of a square with an arrow, to being this link of chains. And what that means is when you click, it moves the text that was running outside of that text box up over into this text box. So now if you make your text larger, see how it flows through, or smaller, it flows back over. So you don't have to constantly select text and move it over, select text and move it over. It does it for you. It's one less thing that you need to worry about. All right, so let's take a look real quick at the Starlight logo. I always forget what movie. Yeah, I always forget what movie this is. I always forget what font this is. I didn't get enough sleep last night. This is a font. Well, they both technically are. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what font this is. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. And I'm going to go to one of my favorite websites, which is What the Font. And I'm going to upload it. Go to my screenshots. And then once I figure it out, you guys will know. It's like on the tip of my tongue what this font is. Optima. Oh, I knew it. All right. So I believe I have Optima. I believe you can find it in Adobe fonts as well. Let's take a look real quick. No, it's not there. All right, let me see if I have it on my machine, and if I do, I will share it with you guys. I'm 99.9999999% sure I own this font. I do. I was gonna say I'm 99.99999999999% sure. So I will share this with you guys, so that way you guys can have it. I'll put it in the announcement. I will zip it and attach it to the announcement for you guys. I'm also pretty sure it's already loaded on my machine. Let's double check. So that's a great font. The reason why is that's a great font for our headlines that I want to use. So I am going to drag out my character styles and drag out my paragraph styles. If they are not in your sidebar over here, go to Window, go to Styles, and open them up manually by clicking on Character and Paragraph Styles. Now, a paragraph style, I went over this in the live session. Paragraph style is going to add that style to every piece of character, every character in the line until there is a manual return there. So it does the whole line. It doesn't necessarily do the whole paragraph because you're probably thinking this is a paragraph, but there's a return here and it considers anything to be a return. That next line is the next paragraph. With that being said, I'm going to create a new style. I'm going to click off to the side here and I'm going to name it headline. And I'm going to go to basic character formats and I'm going to name it Optima. I did have it. And I'm going to do Optima bold. I'm going to go to where are you? Basic, I want to make it all caps. Left, I'm gonna center it. I don't remember where all caps is. I know where it is, like up here. I feel like this should definitely be an option. I don't want a drop cap. I want all caps. All caps. Where are you? General. No break, straight through. Case. Oh, here we go. Case. All caps. I was like, I feel like it should be in the basic character format. And it is. And I'm going to hit OK. And I can manually go into each of these now. Click on the headline. And select it. Oops. See, and I moved the price down to the bottom. I did that on purpose for this line because it always kind of looks weird. All right, I definitely need these headlines to be a little bit larger, but I also want them to be one of the colors of the logo. So I'm going to go back into the logo. I think I want them to be this deep purple because I really like this purple. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to click on it, double click on it, and I want to add it to my library. And you saw in the live session how I created this library. So I'm going to click DES 105 mod 6. If you don't have that created already, you can click on the arrow and create a new library and add it to your new library that you've created and click OK. And now that purple is in there. And just because I'm going to add the red in too, so I'm going to double click, add it to my library, and while I'm at it, I should probably add the gold. All right, get all those colors in there just in case if I need them. Go back into InDesign. Now, I've already added my style to these. All I need to do now is edit the style, and it's going to make all my changes for me. So I'm going to do basic character format, and let's see. I want the font to be a little bit bigger, but I need to kind of look at what I'm doing. I don't want it to run off page. So I want everything to stay on one line. So I'm going to change it to 30 point. And then under character color, oh, whoops. I forgot to add them to my swatches. I'm just going to hit OK first. Go into my CC library. And grab these 3 colors. Right click, and I'm going to add to my swatches and make sure that they're there. And there it is. There we go. And see how it says it gave me that plus sign when I turned it purple. What you can do is either control click or right click, and you can say redefine the style to make it that purple. And it'll change all of them to purple, and now that's part of the style. Great. All right, so next up, let's look at my Word file. I had these items that are italic. I also have my description and then my bold items. So most of the text is going to be this, the description, kind of the body copy. And these are going to be the same font. One's just going to be the bold version and one's going to be the not bold version, but they're pretty much going to be the same exact size. So it'll be easiest for me to make my body copy next. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to click on a new paragraph style, clicking on the create new style. I'm going to double click to the side, and I want it to be based on no paragraph style. So if yours says headline, go back to no paragraph style. I'm going to go into basic character formats, and I'm going to choose Optima because I want to stay in my same font family. I'm going to leave it at regular, and I'm going to do 12/14. It kind of defaulted to 14.4. And I'm going to leave it black and click OK. So that's really, oh, whoops, I forgot to rename it. Double click, rename it. Now I can go in, and there's two ways that you can do this. You can either go in and select and try to get all of the extra returns as well and make them body copy. Or what I think is easier, select everything, click on body copy, and then just go in and grab your 4 headlines and make those the headline again. I just think it's easier to do it this way. Boom, done. All right. So we've got the headline, we have the body copy. Now, I showed you in the live session one way to do those tabs, which was by creating a paragraph style. I'm going to show you another way that you might find easier here to create the tabs, and I don't mind whichever way you want to create them, okay? Just as long as the tabs are there and the leaders are there. So first things first, I want to make my bold items. So I'm going to go up to character styles because I'm only grabbing certain words and making them bold. And I'm going to create a new style. I'm going to double click. I'm going to just name it bold. And I'm going to go to basic character formats. I'm going to leave this blank. And under font family, I'm just going to do bold and click OK. Next, I think I want the prices to be that red, bold and red. So I'm going to create a new style, double click, and I'll call it bold red prices. So I remember which one it is. It's going to be based on bold, and the character color is now going to be that red. Whoops, no outline. It defaults to having an outline. Go to none, click on the inside color. There we go, and make that the red. And hit OK. Then some of these are going to be an item description. The item descriptions I'm going to make purple and italic. So I'm going to create another character style, double click. This one's going to be based on none. I'm going to go to basic character formats. I'm going to change it to italic, which sometimes gets a little weird. Oh, they do have an italic there. There we go. And then under character color, I'm going to do the purple. Click OK. And I might need to, whoops, italic. And I might need to double check that one. Sometimes it can't figure out what the font name is. If they call it italic, if they call it oblique, if they call it something else. All right, so I'm going to grab Whole whole fruits and veggies, and I'm going to click on italic. Oh, and it did fix it. All right, perfect. And I'm actually going to do a hard return on this for the price. And I'm going to select the price. And I'm going to do bold red prices for that one. For this, I'm going to select just cool cucumber, and it's going to be bold. And I'm also selecting the line. And you know what? Maybe these should be purple, right? Let's change it to purple. No outline color. Great. So this one's going to be bold. This one is going to be bold red prices. Bold. Bold red prices. And you're just going to go through and do this for all of them. Bold. Bold red prices. Bold. Bold red prices. La da 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 da. I'm going to make this description italic for that one. I'm also going to make this one italic. And I'm going to manually center these. I'm also going to center this price because it kind of goes with all of them. And I'm going to do a shift return and move small side salad to the next line. Frittata's bold. The price is a bold red price. But it's easier than going up and changing it all, finding it in the drop down, changing this, changing the color. So this is a lot, even though it takes you a minute or two, I mean, it's a lot quicker than doing it that way. It really expedites the process. I'm going to do the same thing on this one, bold red price, and I'm going to center it. And then each of these will be just bold. And this I'm going to move and cold. I'm going to move the whole served hot and cold to the next line. All right. So now we need to add in those, manually add in those tabs, which is going to move the prices over to the right-hand side and put the dots in between. So we only need to do that really on the in the bowl and on the plate. So I'm going to zoom in right here so you can see what I'm doing. And first things first, we should go in and they have spaces, manually select the space and do a tab. Oh, whoops, I missed a price. Whoops, and I took out the L. And I haven't gotten rid of that return yet because I might change up this layout depending on how I want to fit the pictures in. All right. So I am going to select this text. I'm just going to close these up for a second and move them out of my way. And I'm going to hold down Shift and select right down through this text so it selects everything. Then I'm gonna go up to type, and I'm gonna go to tabs. And it should put your tab right where this text box is. If it doesn't, just manually move it over and try to line it up as best as you can. But when you click, it's gonna show you the arrow on the screen. It'll give you a line that you can kind of watch and see where it's going. Now for this, the best way to do this is to use a right justified tab and click and drag along that line as close as you can get to the purple line of your margin there. I like to go just a little bit before. And then where it says leader, click there, hit a period, and hit enter. And it adds in all those dots for you. And if the dots, some of them might not be in that, in the purple, or some of them might be in the purple and the other ones aren't. What you can do is honestly select the one dot that maybe isn't the right style, just to make it easy, and make it that style again. Oops. Or copy and paste. Copy this one. That's what I need to do because it took the tab out. Come on. Oh, really? Come on. There we go. All right. And then click on the arrow. Ugh. Perfect. All right, so this is kind of like running all over the place at this point. So I got to take a look at my images, and I need to put at least 2 images on the back. So let me open up the 3 images that it came with. I'm gonna open them up in Photoshop. I'm gonna make them CMYK, and I'm gonna make them 300 DPI because this is a print piece. All right, image mode, CMYK. Image size, and oh, it is 300 DPI, perfect. And then I'm gonna do a file, save as, and I'm going to save these into a new folder because I use these assets all the time. You guys can save over the assets that you already have. That's completely fine. And close. And image size. That one's already 300 DPI. Oh, that looks so delicious, doesn't it? I'm gonna save it into my new place. Okay. And that one's already 300 DPI too. So I'm just gonna save it into, whoops, save it into my new area. And close. All right. So next, what I need to do is I need to add these in. So the quinoa bowl, this is the quinoa bowl, and we had that picture. So I feel like that picture should probably go somewhere with the quinoa bowl, and the frittata should probably go somewhere with the frittata. So I'm actually going to manually return the on the plate till it gets up here. Although I'm probably gonna have to take those returns out, honestly. I'm gonna go and draw in my rectangle for my quinoa bowl. I'm gonna draw it in right here. Be a little bit larger. I'm going to go to File, Place. And they had it as a salad. I'm like, no, I saw it. And then I'm going to go to Object, Fitting, and I want to fill the frame proportionally. You can even open it up just a little bit more. Perfect. Trying to use up this space that I had down here. So maybe like that. I'm going to do a Command X. This wasn't working for some reason for me earlier. And I'm going to right click and paste and see, it's not bumping. I don't know why it's not bumping things down. I want to anchor you in there, and I don't know why you're not working. It worked for me yesterday. There's something weird going on. I don't know why. So I'm going to manually have to do what I just did in the last one, which is move everything down with returns. If you watched during the live session video, it worked just fine. I don't know what's wrong with my InDesign today. It is a full moon. I'm just saying. That could have something to do with it. So add it back in. It might work for you. It just didn't work for me. So I've got that in the bowl right there. And I'm going to delete this return just so that way I've got a little bit more space down at the bottom, and then I'll move it back in. And then I'm going to do the same thing for on the plate. The frittata was there, but I'm going to set it up a little bit differently. I'm actually going to manually do some returns here and add the frittata in. I'm going to draw a rectangle, go up to File, Place, grab the frittata, and again I'm going to go to Object, Fitting, and I want to fill the frame proportionally, just so it fits in the frame. Actually, that put it in nice. And I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to hit Shift Return on onion, so it moves onions and mushrooms to the next line. I'm going to do the same thing down here for vinaigrette. Shift Return, not a hard return, a Shift Return. And then I've got this blank space right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this return so In a Glass moves up a little, and I'm going to draw in with the rectangle frame tool right here. And I'm going to add in that other photo I have. So File, Place. And even though it's the smoothies, I'm just going to move it in down here. Object, Fitting, fill the frame proportionally. Actually, I'm going to select it with the white arrow tool, the direct selection tool. I'm going to hold down Shift and Command at the same time. And I'm just going to make it larger inside of that box. And if you're not sure if you proportionally scaled it, if you held it down correctly to proportionally scale it, what you can do is double check it. Select the inside of the box and go up here. And you can even type in like 23 by, and it'll make it 23 by 23 in both of them. And you know it's proportional. All right, that looks nice. And maybe just as something right here, I might get some stars or go into the logo, because the logo had some stars, I think, right? I'm just gonna copy these stars And it's okay if you paste the stars. I do want you to make sure that you are placing images, but with the stars, it's okay because it'll paste them in as vector objects. I'm just gonna, if you hold down Option, it makes a copy. I'm gonna do that just for fun. A little something there. Maybe. And then you should have yours set up as layers from last week. I didn't do this by accident. So I'm gonna make a new layer and I'm gonna name it background, move it to the bottom. And I'm going to add in just a color. I showed you how to do a pattern in the live session, so I'm just gonna do a color. So let's say that I want the purple and gold, I guess, but I want the text to be white. I'm gonna show you an easy way to do this. So I've drawn my rectangle, not the rectangle frame tool, just the actual rectangle tool. And I've gone from bleed line to bleed line, so outside of the area because I want it to bleed. I'm gonna go in my swatches and I'm gonna make it purple. And you can see this is like way too dark. Obviously, you can't read anything on top of it. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another rectangle, staying on my background layer. You can lock layer 1 if you need to, so you don't accidentally put it on the wrong layer. And I'm gonna go a little bit inside of my document because I want the purple to show. So if I only put the purple in the bleed area, it's not gonna show. So what size did I make this? 8.25 by 10 point, I'm gonna change it to 10.75. And I'm gonna select both of them and I'm going to align them like that. And then this one, I'm gonna make the yellow. And then I want white behind each of my items, so that way my stars show up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm not going to make, and I'll show you why. I'm not going to make my text boxes white. Here's why. Look what happens when I just make my text box white. See how the text is like right up against it over here, and then it's right up against it over here. It's just, there's not a lot of space between the elements, and I don't want that. So I'm going to manually draw a text box on my background layer. That's a little bit off of where the text box is. So again, going over here, you need to just kind of move it. I'm gonna do this, and I'll zoom out. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit past the bottom because I want it to go a little bit past the bottom over here as well. And I'm going to make it white. And I'm gonna unlock layer 1 because I wanna make sure that they're aligned, nice and centered. Ooh, I'm good. And then I'm gonna select the white box. Again, I'm gonna lock layer 1. And I'm gonna go to Edit Copy. And I'm going to do an Edit Paste in Place. So it's right on top of the one I just made. And then holding down Shift, I'm gonna just move it over. And see how it gave me that line? It centered it with on the plate. If you didn't get the line or you're not sure if it's centered, you can do the same exact thing. Unlock layer 1, and you can make sure it's centered by selecting with Shift both of those elements and just center them with your Align tool. So there we go. You can check that out. Ooh, very nice, very colorful. And I think we're good to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna package this. So I'm gonna do File, Package. Make sure that nothing's missing. Oh, save it first. Save and save often. And I'll package it right into here. And again, you should have yours named with the correct naming convention because it's going to name it in your folder correctly when you zip it. So let me open up Starlight Bistro from week 2. Here's my Starlight folder, and you can tell you have the right folder. There should be a document fonts, a links, Starlight IDML, Starlight INDD, and Starlight PDF. So I'm going to double check my PDF. You want to make sure that it has the crop and bleed marks. So when I packaged it, I'll show you it again. File, Package. It needs to include a PDF with the marks and bleeds. I showed you how to do this in the live session for week 1, and I re-showed how to do this in the live session for week 2. I didn't take off points in week 1. I will take off points in week 2 if your PDF does not have the crop and bleed marks, because I'm giving you the design this week. Let's close that out. And then once it looks good, and you're sure everything's fine, either Control-click or right-click, and go to compressed Starlight folder, and that is what you will submit. All right, so this should be helpful so you can follow along and get your menu done this week.